I had an eating disorder for, I don't know, almost 10 years, and that is such a waste of my life, honestly. You're a chronic case. Screw them. It is possible to recover, no matter how long you have had your eating disorder. Good morning. It is now 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna read a bit before I start my day. Hi warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today it's going to be a mukbang style video while I have my breakfast because I don't have a lot of time. I've got several French theses to translate into English. I've got 2 participants coming in. I've got a master log to update. I've got some reflections for the university to write and just so much to do. Anyway, what you just saw was my morning. I woke up at 5, did a little bit of reading, did my Duolingo, got showered, and then made breakfast. Part of my breakfast is the homemade yogurt that I made yesterday. I will write the exact recipe in the description also for those of you that do not have a yogurt machine, because obviously you can do it even if you just have an oven. That's perfectly fine. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about gaining weight on tiny portion sizes, which is a very frequently asked question. And at the same time, I'm going to be diving into this breakfast and I'm going to top it with some Morrison's peanut butter. I actually tried this peanut butter, I opened it a few days ago. It's already, I don't know, 2/3 gone, and it is honestly so good. So if you haven't tried Morrison's peanut butter, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. You can literally put it on anything. Anyway, so the question I'm going to be answering is how I'm eating 3,000-ish calories now, whereas so many in recovery feel like they start gaining at, I don't know, 500 calories, 1,000 calories, 2,000 calories. And to let you in on a secret, that was me too. I used to gain on really, really, really small amounts. And that is because your body is in starvation mode and it holds on to anything it gets. So as soon as it gets anything more than it's used to, it's going to hold on to it because it thinks, oh yeah, you're going to starve me again. You're not going to give me any food. I need to hold on to this to conserve this energy, because when you starve me again, at least I'll have something to nourish myself with. And from an evolutionary perspective, that makes perfect sense, because people used to only be able to eat, once in a while. And when they couldn't eat, it was really adaptive for their body to hold on to the energy that they did get from the little meals that they got. So for me, it was similar. When I came from eating not all that much, and I started properly nourishing myself again, I gained weight. And now that I'm eating 3,000 calories, 4,000 calories, God knows how many calories, my weight hasn't budged in absolute ages. And I don't know, that's fine with me. I think your body ultimately finds its set point and it will stay at that point. But before it reaches that point, weight fluctuations are going to happen, and that's totally normal. Anyway, you might be asking how best to increase your calories in order to boost your metabolism and to get to this point. Well, I'll get to that. Your weight gain plan depends on you and your treatment team, and I suggest that you discuss it with your treatment team. Anyway, general guidelines, these are sort of mini-mod guidelines, and mini-mod is an approach that I really agree with, that I think you should check out if you haven't already. But if you're currently eating less than 1,000 calories, if you are purging frequently, or if you are over-exercising or taking laxatives, then I suggest you increase your calorie intake by about 200, 300 calories a day until you reach 2,000 calories. Then stay at that point for a little bit. Meanwhile, assessing certain symptoms that might be associated with refeeding syndrome and discussing this with your doctor, because although not common, it is a serious threat and it can be really, really dangerous. If you're interested in this topic, let me know and I can potentially discuss it in another video, but it is a lot to go through. So if you are at risk for refeeding syndrome, then it's really important to take this gradual approach and to probably also be monitoring some of your electrolyte levels in your blood. Anyway, once you reach this 2,000 calorie goal, you've maintained this for a little while, you can increase again. So if you've reached this goal, maintained it, or if you're already at 1,000 calories or more currently and not over-exercising or purging, then you can increase your calories again by about 2,000 calories every day until you reach 3,000 calories, where you should stay. So initially, yes, it's normal to gain weight, probably 3 to 7 kilos during this increasing period. But once you reach those 3,000 calories, your body will get used to them, your metabolism will crank up, and the weight gain will slow down and then stop. And you will maintain at the same calories that you used to gain on. So many people ask me, do I need to reduce my calories once I reach my goal weight? Nope. There's absolutely no need to. If you listen to your body and eat what it wants, there's no need to actively restrict. In recovery, after recovery, whenever. Your body has a natural set point that it wants to stick at. So when it reaches that, it will make sure you do not drastically gain weight. You do not drastically lose weight. So whatever you do, your body fights for that weight. I remember during my recovery, I used to have a very, very greatly fluctuating weight. So if I was ill, I'd drop 5 kilos just like that. If I ate lots in my recovery, it might shoot up a little bit. It might really just be all over the place. Now, if I get ill and can't really eat properly for a day or even a few days, it's strange, but that will barely even affect my weight because my body wants to maintain this weight. And I mentioned before that during your increasing period, you might gain some weight, but also keep in mind that a lot of this weight will also be just water retention, oedema. So it's not the case that in a day you gain a kilo, although it is possible for your weight to fluctuate by that amount. Likely it's just a lot of water weight, and if you go through the stages of recovery without going back to restriction, you will see that this water weight is just lost and it's not there to stay. Anyway, it's really difficult to pay attention to and see when you really are reaching these goals. So if you are planning to increase by 200 calories every day or 300 calories every day, you need to have a bit of a guideline or a bit of knowledge on calories. So if you are following this approach, I suggest you have a treatment team that can be in charge of this, or that you follow a meal plan, because I don't necessarily think it is necessary or necessarily a good thing to be counting calories, whether in recovery or after recovery or whenever, because that can really, really easily trigger eating disordered behaviors and become a new obsession. So a meal plan initially in recovery, I actually do support that, and it can be very helpful, and it is something that is obviously not long term, and you can move away from it as soon as you feel ready to do so. As I said though, there should be no restricting, because if you go back to purging or using laxatives or restricting, that's just going to lengthen the process. Your body's going to freak out again, and even if it was repairing itself, it might give another shock to your metabolism, just lengthening the process and extending the time until it truly revs up to its potential again. So that's not what you want. And as I discussed in some previous videos as well, it is possible that you overshoot your weight, especially if you go back to restriction. But as I mentioned, your set point weight is something that your body will defend. So if you do overshoot your weight, you will naturally fall back down to the weight it is most comfortable at, and you will not need to do anything for that. In my recovery, I wish I'd seen a video like this explaining the whole process, because I wasn't eating all that much at the start of my recovery, obviously, because you can't just go from eating very little to going to 3,000 calories all at once. But I didn't know how much to increase by, when to increase, etc. So I sort of just followed my own little plan, and I think that really just extended the process, kept me in my eating disorder for a longer time, and that's a shame, because I think the faster you can recover, the better, the easier, the less impact on your life, because I had an eating disorder for, I don't know, almost 10 years, and that is such a waste of my life, honestly. Regardless, even if you have had an eating disorder for a very long time, for a very long amount of time, or even if doctors tell you you're a chronic case, they did for me too, screw them. It is possible to recover no matter how long you have had your eating disorder. And yes, it will be difficult to break the routines and the habits that the eating disorder has set in place if it has been there for a long time. But research does suggest that regardless of the length of your eating disorder, anyone can recover. It's just a matter of letting go of control, following your intuition once it returns, and just opposing the eating disorder every single time you hear it in your head. And over time, that voice will get softer and softer, and you will realize that gaining weight is not as scary, and your body will take care of itself, and that you can trust your body. And as you start to trust your body, it will start to trust you again. So it's really a matter of jumping in the deep end and trusting the process. But that step is really necessary in order to recover. the initial weight gain was really scary for me. And I remember feeling really uncertain about my body, and what helped for me was to sort of avoid mirrors a little bit. But at the same time, when I did look in the mirror, being kind to myself, telling myself that I loved myself, that I loved my body for all it could do for me. At this time, I also wore slightly baggier clothes because, obviously, water retention, and repeating to myself that this was only temporary, and that what I was doing was going to be so good for my long-term health and for my long-term happiness and for reducing my anxiety, reducing my family's anxiety. And repeating these things to myself was just so helpful because, yeah, it helped me stay on track, and it helped me do the things that I had to do for my body to recover. And look where I am now. It's wonderful. So jumping in the deep end, it's the scariest thing to do if your eating disorder is shouting at you. But it's the thing that you have to do. So, yeah, there's no tricks to healing your metabolism. It's just eating a variety, not restricting, eating in abundance, and trusting that your body will catch up with this process as well. I don't really know what else to say on this topic. So, yeah, I think I'll just be finishing my breakfast. And I hope you like this video. If you want to see similar videos, or if you have any suggestions of what you want to see in future videos, then let me know. I'd be especially interested in doing a bit of a different video at some point soon, something non-eating disorder related, just because I feel like I don't do that enough, and that's obviously more of a personal passion for me now because I've left eating disorder behind. It's not constantly on my thoughts anymore. At the same time, I know that I've had these experiences and I want to share them with you because I can, and because I can make a difference. But if there's any kind of different video that you'd like to see, then let me know below, because I'd love to step out of my normal videos and do something completely different, just see how it goes, and, you know, wander into the unknown a little bit, as I suggest you all do. Anyway, I will see you all next week. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, and yeah, bye.